You serve some very big clients here in the United Kingdom, like Sainsbury and Aldi, and there has been severe congestion, as one shipping company put it to me yesterday. Should we expect shortages of certain foods?
Well, I would say, first of all, I must correct you. I don't serve Aldi. Sainsbury's is our partner in the UK. But good morning to you. Thank you for having me on the show. And yes, unfortunately, we do live in a sort of just-in-time community and environment. And this is not just for the car industry, but it's also for the food industry. And particularly with fresh and chilled and fresh produce, this is definitely going to represent a challenge. I think we will be feeling the effect of this block, which has happened between France and between Europe, continental Europe and the UK in terms of supply chain. Supply chain is a massive global issue at the moment. Clearly, in my view, the world was not ready for this pandemic, and supply chain has been a problem all over the world. We've seen it in the last few months. Containers from China were not available, and now we're seeing the crunch of the matter in the UK. So yes, I believe there will be some shortages.
And what about if there's a no-deal Brexit on top of this? Does the port chaos, does the supply chain strains, does all of that get worse?
Well, clearly, in the last few weeks, companies like myself, we've been trying to stockpile some products into the UK because obviously the uncertainty of these duties, which are extremely high. I mean, we have some categories, basic categories of products like pasta, which will be affected up to 30%. So it's a massive increase on the cost of goods. And ultimately, this will have to be reflected onto the final consumer. So this is a tragedy, in my view. So yes, supply chain will be made even more difficult because of this uncertainty of Brexit. And we're all continuing to try and get goods into the UK to try and create a bit of a buffer stock. But this will just be a very temporary effect. But it is clogging up ports everywhere. We see the shipping companies are struggling, the trucks are struggling, as we've seen in the last few days. It's been on the news everywhere. So yes, I think the combination of Christmas, winter, Brexit, the fact that the UK is an island, all these things make it particularly serious.
Yeah, not just really a double whammy. You mentioned Christmas, kind of a triple one there. Where are the weakest links when it comes to the EU-UK supply chain?
Well, I would say that, being an island, or clearly for all the chilled products, the biggest port of entry is Dover. So we have this one port of entry for trucks on the road, which is the most important one. And this is really, as we've seen, it's completely clogged up. And the UK is not self-sufficient with regards to its own food. And also we have it conversely on the other way around. I mean, we see massive Scottish producers who are trying to get their smoked salmon onto the European tables, or salmon in general. And if it doesn't arrive by Christmas, they will have lost a year's work. So it's on both sides. It's not just the shortage of food in the UK, but it's also the situation of UK companies who cannot export their own products. So we're all struggling. It's affecting the business community tremendously. And I would say that it's really this uncertainty. Almost it's worse, the uncertainty, than saying the duties. I mean, if we all knew 6 months ago what we're dealing with, what is the monster that we're dealing with, we would deal with it. But at the moment, this is the biggest struggle, the uncertainty. And it looks as if maybe today they'll give us some reply. Maybe we have to wait until the end of the year. I don't know. But certainly this is contributing to the panic scene we see at ports of entry into the UK.
But right now, we do have France reopening the border. Do you expect the situation to ease at least?
Well, it should ease a little bit, but we know that the French lorry drivers will have to, the lorry drivers coming back into France will have to be tested for COVID, albeit it's one of these quick tests, but still it's going to take some time. So we know our depot of chilled products that we have in the UK, we've got about 15 trucks which are waiting there because they've been told not to go to the border because there are no facilities available for the drivers. I mean, there's no basic facilities, there's no toilets, there's no washing areas. So it's clearly very, very stressful for all the drivers. And this
also
hopefully will be a temporary thing, but at the moment they're suffering quite a lot.
We also learned overnight that Lufthansa will be airlifting some food from Frankfurt to the United Kingdom. And I know Frankfurt is a big hub and has connections to a lot of Italian producers as well.
Yes.
Are you part of anything like that, an airlift into the UK?
No, we can't do it. Clearly, this would affect costs tremendously. I mean, as I said at the beginning of this conversation, we live in a just-in-time environment due to the fact that everything has to be at the minimum price. Now, we were not ready to manage buffer stocks in any way, and airlifting products would be absolutely impossible from a price perspective, particularly products which are low cost. I mean, some of the value of our products is lower than the actual cost of transporting them. So you can imagine by plane that would be impossible, and that would also clog up the airports. I think they'll probably be using it to get the vaccines across.
How has all of this affected your supply chains? Where have you seen the biggest level of disruption?
The biggest level of disruption has been basically not getting the right quantity of stock over at the right time. So you risk having stock piling up, which you cannot get into the depots into the UK because there are struggles there. The combination of panic buying within the UK, so the UK consumer is also under tremendous insecurity at the moment. So one minute they're told they're in lockdown, the next minute they're not, the next minute Brexit is going to threaten the supply of their food, so out they go and run and clear the shelves. So all of this combination of things creates extra costs. We've actually had to set up a company in the UK just in case we needed to manage it. So you can imagine all the bureaucracy around it without knowing really what is the clear path to follow.